Hello and welcome back to yet another board game channel and yet another turn in Eldritch Horror versus Azathoth. I've realized that I've been playing Rex wrong. Let's just zoom in on him for a minute and I'll show exactly what I've been doing wrong. Okay, here we have Rex Murphy, the reporter, who starts off cursed, and I was eventually able to get rid of that curse by having him rest and have the witch doctor get rid of that curse. However, it's passive. If you do not have a cursed condition, gain one clue, improve one skill, and gain a cursed condition. It's not voluntarily become cursed in order to gain the benefits. It's just the moment he is not cursed, he instantly becomes cursed again right away, in the process getting one clue and improving one skill of your choice. So I don't know how much him not being cursed here and there has affected the gameplay. I think we're just going to have to start playing him correctly from this point on. I'm quite certain he did get the Witch Doctor while he was cursed, so he certainly legitimately got the Witch Doctor as an ally. On the other hand, this means I will probably be having him rest a lot more in order to get rid of the curse condition and then immediately regain it and keep pumping up his stats. So hopefully, even though cursed, maybe he will become a juggernaut just by virtue of rolling a whole bunch more dice than he normally would. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make Rex cursed. He will gain another clue and improve one stat of his choice. I think for now, let's just improve his influence, put it up to 5, so he can pick lots of stuff up from the reserves, some of which will be able to increase his stats even more. And yeah, we'll just see how things go from here. Sorry about that. Thanks to Mike Young on the previous video for pointing this out. Yeah, I completely misinterpreted that. But we'll just soldier on correctly from here on in, and let's go to our action phase. Alright, we're starting with Tony Morgan, who is still our team lead investigator. For his first action, he has 2 focus. So we're going to test his influence and see if we can turn that into a second clue for him. Just checking, he doesn't have anything that increases his influence, so we'll just do a straight 2-die roll. No success there. We have a 3 and a 4. Alright, for his second action, I'm going to move him over to Tunguska. Thinking maybe doing that expedition encounter, because that usually gives us pretty good stuff to help us in our quest. So we're done with Tony, and we'll be moving on to Finn. Alright, here's Finn in London along with Rex. For his first action, he's actually going to trade, and he's actually going to get, he doesn't have any clues, so he's going to trade a clue with Rex. Rex is going to give him some info, and then for his second action, we're going to move him over to Arkham, hoping to have him there for when or around that area anyway, for when the omen track moves on to the red omen, and hopefully close that gate on the subsequent turn, and work towards solving our mystery. Next up, we'll be switching over to Monterey Jack again. Okay, Jack is here on space 20. First thing he's going to do is rest. That will give him back the 1 health that he is short. We will get to roll to try to get rid of his internal injury. We need a 5 or a 6. 5! Jack's all better. Also, when resting, his task... Get that to focus. There we are. Yeah, when performing a rest action, attempt to call upon the arcane energies of the world. Test his lore. His lore is 3. He also has the Urban Guide, which adds 1 additional die when resolving tests on a city space, which he is. So he's actually going to get to roll 4. So our chances are pretty good here. We got a single success with a 5, but that is good enough. So we will grab an Eldritch token and add that to his Invoke the Elements task. I think maybe we'll hold off on flipping it yet, see if we can make it a little bit stronger for when we do flip it over. And that will leave us in the action phase with Rex Murphy, who, yes, is in fact perennially cursed. No, wait, we're not moving to Rex yet. I forgot his second action for Jack. Second action, we're going to move him down into Sydney. Now we move on to Rex. Alright, Rex in London, who I'm at a slight loss what to do with now that I've realized I've been playing him wrong. So I think for this turn, I'm certainly not going to send him down to Rome. Even if he weren't cursed, there's no way he could take on the Dark Young. And I think what I'm just going to do is, well, first of all, I'm going to rest. That will put Rex back up to his full 7 health. He loses the curse because of the Witch Doctor. Immediately gets the curse back, which gives him another clue token and another stat improvement. I think given that he does have that glamour spell that could kick in during a reckoning, I'm going to up his lore by 1. For his second act, tell you what, yeah, let's do his special action of gaining assets up to totaling less than his influence. His influence is now 5, so he can automatically acquire things up to a total of 4. So he could get a couple of things here. I think because we can pump up his stats like wild now, going to probably send him after the Windwalker, even if he is cursed, because I'm hoping to get him a whole boatload of dice when he does go up against it. So, I'm going to start off with acquiring the, there we are, the 45 automatic, which will give him +3 during combat encounters, which will help against the Windwalker. And for now, yeah, let's just go ahead with the Expedition Guide. Means if he does spend a focus when re-rolling a die during observation or strength test, he'll be able to re-roll 2 dice instead. So we'll replenish the reserve. We're going to get added the Enchanted Dagger. Magic weapon, gain +2 during combat encounters. And 32 Colt Pocket. Getting a lot of weapons all of a sudden. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter, which is nice because that doesn't count as a plus to the stat, because you can only have one of those. This would add 1 die, period, regardless of any other increases. And you may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Alright, that wraps up the action phase. Now we'll return to Tony Morgan and start some encounters. Okay, Tony in Tunguska. You could choose between the clue encounter or the expedition encounter. Let's go with the expedition, see if we get anything nice out of it. Here we go, in Tunguska. As you approach the crater described in Rasputin's notes, toxic fumes pour out of a fissure in the earth. You struggle to stay conscious and continue your descent. Test strength. Now, his strength is a 4. Let's see, does he have anything that will improve that? Only during combat, which this is not. But hopefully 4 dice is plenty. Yes, in fact, we got 2 successes there. Let's read the success. You find the remains of the monk's camp. Gain 1 artifact. Alright, go to the artifact deck. He already has an artifact, but now he also has the Elixir of Life. As an action, Tony will be able to test will. If he passes, you may spend 1 sanity to recover all health and discard all illness, injury, and madness conditions. He doesn't have any of those right now, but that could still come in useful later on. Let's continue and see. You then search the crater. Observation -1. That will give him 3 dice. Oh, actually, the Book of the Dead gives him a +2 observation. So he'll actually be rolling 5 dice. So we should have this, but we don't. He actually failed that. Lovely. What happens? If we pass, if you fail, the shattered landscape is difficult to look at. Lose 1 sanity. Well, seeing as how he was at full stats, that's not too bad. At least he got an artifact out of it. Let's look at the top of the research deck. No, not the research deck. Expedition deck. Drew a complete blank there. So the expedition token will now move to... Where is that moving to? Oh, lovely. It's moved to Tokyo, which is infested with monsters. We may not be doing any other expedition encounters this game. Alright, that wraps up Tony's encounter. Let's move over to Finn. Okay, there's Finn in Arkham. Now, he could close the gate, but we want to wait until the omen track is actually on the red omens, so it will count towards solving our second mystery. So instead, he could have either an Arkham encounter or a generic city encounter. The most common effect for an Arkham encounter is gain incantation spells. His lore's only 2. So let's go with a generic city encounter instead and see if we get anything good out of that. Let's get that to focus. Alright. A rich heir wants someone to fulfill his father's dying wish. He will not trust anyone who does not come highly recommended. Test influence. Alright, his influence is 3. However, he is blessed. So we probably have this. Let's give that a go. Yes, 1 success. If you pass, gain 1 task unique asset. If you fail. We're getting a lot of these. Maybe too many. They're a little difficult to keep up with. Let's have a look. Okay, got a task right away. All right. He gets the task of prayer. When performing a rest action, you may beseech a higher power for assistance. Test will. If you pass, place an Eldritch token on this card, then you may flip it over. All right. That's it for Finn. Let's move back down to Sydney, where Monterey Jack is. Okay, down in Sydney, Monterey Jack, before he can have a location encounter, he has to deal with the Maniac. Only got a toughness of 1. Let's see how it goes. First off, we do the will check. We get to roll a will test +1 to avoid getting 1 sanity damage. His will is only 2, but he does get to add a die because of his urban guide, because we are still in a city. So we just need 1 here. Didn't get it. So Jack goes a little bit crazy. He does have an axe-wielding maniac coming at him, so that's not surprising. Now the actual combat is a strength test -1. The strength is 4, so that's down to 3. However, he gets a +1 because of the bullwhip. And again, he has his urban guide on a city space, so we get to roll 1 additional die. Plus, if necessary, we can re-roll 1 die when resolving a combat strength encounter. Now we need 1 to defeat the Maniac, and we want to roll at least 2 to prevent taking any damage. And we did roll 2 successes, a 5 and a 6. There we go. If you fail the test, didn't happen. If you defeat this monster during a combat encounter, gain 1 axe asset. So we get the axe-wielding maniac's weapon, pull it off his unconscious or dead body. I'm not sure if we actually kill these people or just knock them out. Either way, let's quickly look for the axe. Alright, there it is. Jack is now the proud owner of a maniac's axe, which will give him a +2 strength during combat encounters, so a little bit better than his bullwhip. Also, you may spend 2 sanity to re-roll any number of dice when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. We'll see how that goes. Alright, that means, having gotten rid of the maniac, which we'll put back in the monster bag in a moment, he now gets to have an encounter on that location. Again, we don't want to have the otherworld encounter because we don't want to close this red gate until the omen track is on red. So he could encounter Sydney, generic city, or a research encounter to get the clue token. So let's go for the clue. City. Inside a warehouse, you hear a clanging sound and discover a creature that resembles a metallic crate walking around on several legs. You try to follow the thing back to the cult's lair. Observation -1. Observation 3, so that would be 2. However, again, we still have the urban guide with us, helping us sneak around the city. He knows all the back ways and can figure out where this crate is walking to. So we get to roll his full 3 as a result. And we did get a single success. If you pass, gain this clue and 1 additional clue. Hey, we're doing fairly well on clues. That means Jack now has 4 clues. Maybe he should go after the Windwalker as well, because he could do a lot of re-rolling during that. But we'll see about dealing with this mystery next turn, depending on the omen track situation. So, we will now whip back up to London and Rex Murphy. Alright, London with Rex. There is a clue there. We might as well attempt another research encounter. Try to get, just making sure he doesn't have any of those tasks. Okay, he doesn't have any tasks to work towards. Good. Oh, and I just realized we did defeat the maniac, so somebody... Tony gets a clue whenever a monster is defeated. So Tony now has 2 clues. Alright, let's pay attention to Rex again. We'll have a city research encounter. The maestro possesses the original libretto for the notorious opera. You sneak backstage during intermission and steal it. Gain the Massa de Requiem per Shuge artifact. We ran into that opera earlier. Now we get a copy of the libretto. Let's just dig that out. Alright. There it is. The Requiem. Item tome as an action. Test lore -1. If you pass, you may spend 1 sanity to discard 1 monster on a space of your choice containing a gate. Oh, maybe Rex, or if we pass this on to someone else, maybe we could work on clearing out Tokyo a little bit. The bad thing is on a reckoning, we roll a die, and on a 1, Doom advances by 1. We have a lot of stuff. Everybody has a lot of stuff and spells or just a whole lot of belongings, but we seem kind of stalled. Now, we'll see if we can get it into gear starting next turn. Now, what else happens when we get the artifact? You search the pages for the knowledge you seek. Observation -1. So that'll be 2 cursed dice. Just making sure he doesn't have anything that increases observation. He does not. We do have his lucky talisman though, so that if we fail this, he can re-roll all the dice. So let's see what happens. Well, how about that? He rolled a 6. Way to go, Rex. And what do we get for that? If you pass, gain this clue. If you fail, not a problem. Alright. Rex is up to 3 clues. Yeah, we just need to start doing a lot of stuff with these clues. Okay, that concludes the encounter phase. So, yep, now the bad guys get to go, and we move into the Mythos phase. Alright, Mythos time. Now, oddly enough, I do want the Omen track to move on, even though it means Doom will plummet by 3 points, because it means we'll then be able to start doing things about closing the gates. If we're successful and close both gates next turn, we can just get rid of the second mystery right away, because we certainly have enough clues to spend after closing those gates. So, let's see what we get. It's a yellow card, and yes, it has tentacles. Alright, first things first. Yes, the Omen track moves. Moves to red. We have, yes, yeah, Tokyo is blue. We have 3, yikes, 3 red gates. So we're now down to 7 Doom. Then we have Reckoning. Damn. Okay, so we start with monsters. The Dark Young has a Reckoning effect. Roll 1 die. On a 1 or 2, advance Doom by 1. Come on, high roll. 5. Okay, that's not a problem. What other monsters do we have? We have the Spawn of Sibak. Each investigator on this space loses 1 sanity. Nobody is there. Nothing happens. We have the Star Spawn. And again, we roll 1 die. On a 1 or 2, advance Doom. See if our luck holds out there. We rolled a 3. We're not doing badly. Ancient One, Azathoth does not have any effects. Right. Mythos card. So we lose an Eldritch token on the Windwalker card, so we are down to 3. Have to work on that Windwalker as soon as possible. Now, I also have this Patrolling the Border one from a couple of turns back. Each investigator on a city space tests observation. If they fail, they become delayed and gain a detained condition. Alright, let's do this. Let's start with, see, Tony is not on a city space. Everybody else is. Alright, Finn. Yeah, that was a full observation, yes. Finn has 3 observation and is blessed. Let's just make sure nothing else there affects that. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, 2 successes. Finn's alright. Then we move to Jack. His observation is 3. Gets an extra die for his urban guide, because we're on a city space. Okay, 3 successes. Worried we're using up all the successes before we hit Rex. First Rex. His observation is 3. Going to make sure nothing else increases that. Nothing increases it. However, we didn't use the Lucky Talisman earlier, so if necessary, we can roll this a second time, because this is considered a test. Okay, didn't happen. So I'll just tap his talisman there, and no. Rex becomes delayed, and we'll just find him a detained condition. There we go. He won't be able to do anything next turn except try to get out of the detained condition. Alright, and then that card just goes away. It's a one-time effect. Now, not looking forward to the rest of the card. Oh, one other icon to resolve. We do spawn a new gate. It's another red one. Getting all the red ones in a row here. That one's in the Amazon. And that gate brings with it a child of the goat. It does not sound appetizing. With a reckoning effect. Oh, okay, it's not too bad, although it does have magical resistance, so no magic items will work against it. That's okay, it's only got one toughness. You do a regular strength, and it can only do up to 2 physical damage. It does have another possible advanced Doom Reckoning. Now that pops out of the gate in the Amazon, and now probably the worst part of the card. You pushed everything to the breaking point. Your mind, body, relationships, and possessions have all been worn thin by the demands of your quest, but you cannot relent, not on the brink of disaster. The end is nigh. Each investigator discards 1 item possession, 1 ally asset, 1 task asset, 1 spell, 1 clue, 1 focus, and 1 improvement token. Then everybody loses 1 health and 1 sanity. Blech. Yikes. Okay. This could take a while. Start with Tony. Go through his items first. Got his handcuffs, his spirit dagger, his Book of the Dead, his elixir of life. I think I'll lose the elixir of life. Oh, on the other hand, we could give that to Jack in order to retreat Doom. Handcuffs. Well, most of the monsters around here have toughness of more than 2. So I think we'll go ahead and lose his handcuffs, because they're only useful against critters that have 2 toughness or less. Let's point out he also had the treasure map, but it doesn't count as an item, it's a trinket. Then, he's only got the 1 task, so that goes away. We lose a clue. We lose a focus, a health, and a sanity, leaving him at 6 and 3 for his health and sanity. Okay, moving on to Finn. His item choices are... He's only got the 1 item, the whiskey, which we could have used to stop the upcoming sanity damage, but no. He loses that. He also loses an ally, so there goes the cat burglar. He has no spells. He's got 2 tasks. Know the enemy or prayer. I think we'll keep the prayer because it's easier to rest then gain a clue during a research encounter. He loses his only clue and his only focus, which gives us a problem for closing his gate next turn. He loses a health and a sanity. He's going to have to rest soon because he's down to 2 health. Oh, I forgot that Tony had a 1 health improvement, so he loses that as well. Monterey Jack, he's got 2 items, the bullwhip and the axe. The axe gives him a slightly higher combat bonus, so there goes the bullwhip. He loses his urban guide. He unfortunately loses that task that he had 1 Eldritch token on. I could have just used that right away. He has a single improvement token on his lore. Lose a clue, loses 1 focus, lose a health, lose a sanity. This is pretty awful. Alright, that leaves him at 6 health and 3 sanity. Next up we have Rex, although he has lots and lots of items to choose from. Well, not as many as I thought. He's got a lot of cards. Only 3 of them are items. We've got the Requiem he just picked up, 45 automatic, and the Book of Spells. I don't know. The Requiem's test lore -1, and he will always be cursed. That one's kind of iffy, and it does have a bad reckoning effect. I forgot to do all the reckoning effects earlier. Let's make sure that we didn't... Okay. So before discarding this, we should have done the reckoning effect on it. Sorry, there was just so much happening. So on a 1, we would advance Doom by another. Okay, we rolled a 4. Now he'll get rid of that, because that would have happened before the loss. I'm really glad he picked up the Expedition Guide as an ally earlier. Otherwise, he would have lost the Witch Doctor, which is pretty crucial right now. So there goes the Expedition Guide. He has 2 spells. I think I'll actually lose the Astral Travel. But first we'd have to do the Reckoning effect on that, wouldn't we? Okay. He would have to test his lore, which is 3, with his cursed dice. He does have the Book of Spells, which gives him an extra 2 dice from resolving a spell effect. I think this counts as a spell effect. People can tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm testing lore on a spell, so I think that counts. It doesn't matter. He got nothing anyway. So this would have happened first. The magic is leading you back in time. Become delayed unless you discard this card. He's delayed anyway, because of the earlier Mythos card. Alright, so we got rid of that spell. We got rid of an ally. We got rid of items. We're going to lose 1 improvement. That would be... well, he's got a lot to choose from. Let's lose the observation 1 for now. So he's back down to his normal observation. Lose a clue. He has no focus. Lose a health. and a sanity, so he's down to 6 and 6. At least he's healthy. And that is that. So let's go back and redo those reckoning effects that I missed earlier for all their possessions and conditions. Starting with Tony, he was haunted. On a 1, 2, or 3, we're going to flip the haunted card. A 1, of course. Ghastly follower. Wherever you go, the phantom follows, always watching you. The spirit never leaves your side, even in public. Each day you hear the shrieks of horror that from anyone who sees it. Lose one's sanity and impair, oh good, my first impairment, impair influence. Then flip this card. So I don't even get rid of the haunting. So we'll impair him later. Oh, it was all going too well, wasn't it? Alright, Finn's blessed condition. On a 1 or 2, he will lose it. Okay, at least he's still blessed. Monterey Jack doesn't have anything. Rex, he may lose his curse, which would be okay because he would immediately get it back along with some clues and improvements. So on a 4, 5, or 6, he gets to discard it. Rolls a 5, so it goes away, immediately comes back. So he'll gain a whole new clue and get a stat improvement. So we'll just take back that observation that we lost. Okay, I think that was it for that mess of a Mythos phase. I hope I got everything, and I hope people were able to follow that, because that was fairly muddled. Alright, maybe we can bounce back from this in future turns. It's starting to look very not good. So, we'll see what happens next time. We'll see you again for the next turn of Eldritch Horror versus Azathoth. See you then.